Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. So, this is the off-season, the 2008 off-season, and once again we are the victors of the Stanley Cup, and we are the reigning champions. There's quite a bit going on as usual. I simmed all the way to July 1st and quite a few things happened. So well, first of all, we can see the prospects that I am signing because they have reached 20 years old. That's kind of my little rule that I'm following. So Kaspar Dagevans, Eric Gryba, and Nick Foligno got signed, and right next to that you can see that there's 3 players on waivers. Alex Pietrangelo for some reason is on waivers, Nikita Filatov is on waivers, and Lucas Biza is on waivers. I've put a claim on all 3 of them. Why not? So they're available, so I've put a claim. That doesn't mean I'm gonna get them, but I did put a claim on them. So if I get those 3 players plus my 3 signings there, that's gonna put me at 48 contracts. So I'm not really gonna go after any free agents. There's not really anybody that I would want in there anyway. Maybe a couple names that I might have been intrigued with, but anyway, so that's it for the prospects that I signed. That's it for the waivers. Now there's gonna be a bunch of news to go through, and there's gonna be 2 trades that I made that I think are pretty interesting. One was offered to me, I didn't go out and look for it, and the other trade that I made is very sentimental for me. Does it make sense for the team? It does, to a certain extent. I'll explain it a little bit more when we look into it. So let's go here. So on June 8th, the Phoenix Coyotes offered me a trade. They wanted Jacob Klippisch from me, and they offered me a young Martin Hansel for Klippisch. Now, I'm not the biggest Martin Hansel fan in real life, but in the game he does have a 3.5-star potential. Now, he's gonna reach the potential, that's another story, I don't know, but I thought it was a pretty interesting trade for me. So I made the trade. So we have Martin Hansel in the system now. Then there's been a trade between the Flyers and the Bruins where Maxim Sushinsky was shipped to Philadelphia for Danius Zubrus. And then John Tortorella lost his job in LA, and he was replaced by Dan Bilesma. And Dean Lombardi lost his job as the GM of the Sharks and was replaced by Jay Feaster. And then you can see the trade that I made. It's a sentimental trade for me. I traded Patrick Elias back to the Devils, and I acquired Scott Niedermayer. Scott Niedermayer was one of my favorite players when he was playing. So that's kind of why I got him, but also because for Elias I wanted either a younger player or a defenseman that would be able to help me on the offensive side of things, because that didn't go very well for me last season in that department. So I'm hoping that Scott Niedermayer can help with the offensive side of things. I wasn't really offered a good young player, so I kind of hesitated a little bit between Scott Niedermayer and Sergei Gonchar, but the sentimental part of it took the edge here, so Scott Niedermayer it is. Alright, and then Pavel Bure retired, so Vancouver is going to retire his number. Brian Leach also retired. He was 40. Rangers are going to retire his number. Mark Recchi also retiring. He was 40 as well. And Philadelphia's retiring his number. Ed Belfour retired. So Chicago's going to retire his number. Patrice Brisebois retired. He was 37. And Keith Carney retired. He was 38. And finally, we did have Zach Smith. Oh, that's true. No, he's counted. So we do have Zach Smith that joined the team. Alright, so that's pretty much it. So I don't know if I'm going to get any of those guys. I'd love to get Pietrangelo. I wouldn't mind getting Filatov. He has a certain potential. And Sbiza can be a reliable third pair defenseman if I get to claim him. Alright, so you know the drill. There's not a whole lot that's going to happen all the way to the preseason. So, and the fact that I'm not going after any free agents kind of make things faster as well. We did get Sbiza. Oh god, we did get Alex Pietrangelo as well. And we got Filatov as well. Oh boy, that's getting almost too easy. Alright, so Doug Evans signed. I don't know, he's thinking about it. Foligno's thinking about it. Gryba's thinking about it. Brandon Prost dumps agent over lack of a new deal. So Brandon Prost is with the Oilers in my universe. And I need to assign numbers to the players I just claimed. So Filatov can get number 28. That's fine. Now I'm not gonna give Pietrangelo number 27. That's the number for Scott Niedermayer. I'm gonna give him number 2. And Sbiza wants number 5. He can have it. They're probably all gonna go in the minors anyway. Alright. Alright. Kaspar's Dagevans sign. He was a fan favorite in Ottawa. People liked him. What I remember the most about him was that crazy shootout attempt that he made. It's hard to describe without an image, but he was controlling the puck with the tip of his stick instead of using the full blade. That was something else, but then he kind of made a spinorama and the goal didn't count because it was deemed that the puck made a backwards movement. Well, I do remember that about him. Doug Evans wants number 16. Well, 17 it is. Alright, Nick Foligno signed. And then Eric Gryba signed. Alright, Nick Foligno wants number 71, and he's going to get it. Alright, so as far as the Sens go, we're pretty much set. Like I said, we're at we should be at 48 contracts right now. Yeah, so I really shouldn't be going after anybody at this point. Ooh, there's been a trade between Boston and Pittsburgh. Patrice Bergeron for Sidney Crosby. That would be something. Nope. So Boston gets Eric Christensen, and Pittsburgh gets an aging Sandis Ozolinsh and an aging Mikko Eloranta. So Ozolinsh is probably going to help the Pens. He still has some offensive capabilities. So he's probably going to help them on the blue line. I wonder if they probably have Chris Letang ready to play. The Pens do. Oh yeah, Brandon Pruss is all happy he signed with a new agent. We've seen that before, I'm not going to read it. It is pretty quiet in the world of hockey. Oh, there's been a trade between Anaheim and San Jose. So Brian Smolinski is going to go to the Sharks for Willie Mitchell. Yeah, looks like Brian Smolinski is getting a little bit older here. I think that Anaheim probably got the best of that trade. All right. And of course, Erik Karlsson has arrived in the universe. Even if he's Erik Karlsson, I'm still gonna wait until he's 20 before I sign him. I'm gonna still follow my little house rule. Alright, so Pat LaFontaine gets in the Hall of Fame. I did vote for him. Frederick Lawson gets in the Hall of Fame. I did vote for him. Jeff Courtnall gets in the Hall of Fame. I did not vote for him. And Dave Andreychuk gets in the Hall of Fame. I voted for him as well. Oh, can you imagine in a few years I'm gonna have Pietrangelo and Erik Karlsson on my blue line? Woo! Now that's something. It's probably gonna cost a lot of money to have them both too, but hey. Two of the best right-handed shots from the blue line on the same team. Yeah, the Blues screwed up there. I don't know what happened, but they screwed up. Yeah, there's really nothing going on in August, huh? Alright, well, nothing happened in August, so we're gonna go to September then. Looks like it's going to be a quiet September as well. Very quiet September. Alright, we are approaching our first preseason game, which is going to be against the Vancouver Canucks. Oh dear lord, this video looks like it's going to be pretty short today. There really wasn't a whole lot going on in the off-season. I don't have room for a lot of free agent signings or anything like that, so that went fast quite a bit. Alright, so that's the part of the video that is kind of sucky a little bit because I have to go one by one and call up my players so that they can play in preseason. Oh, Bisa is already. Oops. Alright. Mazzaros. Scott Niedermeyer. Robin Regier. Come play some preseason games, buddy. Drazenovic. Colin Greening. Pat Maroon. Oops. Roman Wick. Alright, so sorry about that. I know I was a little silent, but that part kind of sucks. Alright, so we're about to play our preseason, and it's gonna start with a road trip, and then a couple of games, and then another small road trip. And then we're gonna play the Devils, not the Devils, the Pittsburgh Penguins in a home and home to start the season, which of course is going to be in the next video. Oh, Jordan Leopold is not in shape. I guess he didn't see what I did to Patrick Eaves last season when he showed up not in shape. I'm gonna criticize him internally. He responded poorly to the criticism. Well, I mean, you just had to be in shape, buddy. You think I don't have any other defensemen? I mean, I just traded for Scott Niedermeyer. You might be the one who loses his job over this. Oh, God. Alright, Ray Emery would like to have number 1. He can have it. Thank you. Sam Gagner is not gonna get number 27. Eric Condro would like number 22. 42 is gonna have to do. Fistrick. 49, that's fine. Martin Ansel would like number 11. Yeah, I'm gonna give you 18. How about that? Matt Unwick would like number... Yeah, not gonna happen. 52 for preseason, that's fine. Jesse Winchester would like number 14. Yeah, you're gonna get 51. Patrick Maroon. Go. That's the other part that sucks with it, is you have to give a number to everybody. Alright, so with all that being said, we are now ready to start our preseason. And like I said, we're starting it on the road in Vancouver against the Canucks, which is not something that is out of the ordinary this season in real life. The Sens did play against the Canucks in Vancouver during preseason. So that's something that would be possible. It was a bit out of the ordinary, I guess. Sens usually stay close to home for this stuff. Alright, so Vancouver. Now in net, they have Marty Turco and Corey Schneider. On D, they have Joe Corvo, Brent Sopel, Matthias Olun, Anders Eriksson, Alex Edler, Yaroslav Spacek, David Petrosek. Yeah, I guess it's alright. A couple of defensemen need to reach potential. Bates Battaglia up front, Jordan Jeffrey, McLaren, Daniel Sedin, Holmstrom, Kotelik, Olden, Nordquist, Tenute, Burish, Henrik Sedin, Evanen, R.J. Umberger, and Jed Ortmeyer. Yeah, that's not a great team over there. I think Vancouver might struggle this year. Alright, let's see what we can do against them in preseason. So we're going to go with Ryan Miller in net, and they are going to go with Corey Schneider. And we won 3-2 in overtime. Alright, so we outshot Vancouver 44-15 in that game. Mike Fisher was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Henrik Sedin was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Joe Thornton was the third star with an assist. So Vancouver scored first in the first period. Took a 1-0 lead. Then we tied it up in the second with Patrick Eves scoring, assisted by Mike Fisher. And then in the third period, Sheldon Surrey scored from Mike Fisher. It was 2-1, but then Vancouver tied the game, made it 2-2. And in overtime, Mark Streit scored from Marian Hossa and Joe Thornton, and 3-2 was the final score in that one. Overtime win. Alexander Radulov improves at left wing. Right, and we don't have a whole lot of time to rest because we are now going to play our second game of the preseason in Anaheim against the Ducks. Johan Franzen has a memorable game. He had a hat-trick against the Sharks. Pretty good. Memorable game for Brian Rodney in Carolina. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Oilers. Ooh, Montreal loses Andrei Markov to injury. Ooh, out for 6 months with a fractured hip. Not good for Montreal and Andrei Markov. That's a really good defenseman. Out for a good chunk of the season right there. Good night for Jordan Stahl, who had a hat-trick against Minnesota. Teppo Numminen has a memorable game, still playing in Phoenix. 4 assists against Nashville. A night to remember for Jerome McGinley, who had a goal and 4 assists against Colorado. And in that same game, no one could stop Brendan Morrow, who had a hat-trick. Alright. Alright, so the cap is going to be $56,700,000. Oh yeah, we're gonna be fine. After that I send down all of the people that I need, we're gonna be just fine. Alright, so we are about to play Anaheim in Anaheim. No injuries. So in net is going to be Brizgalov and Erzberg. On D, it's Zdeněk Kutlak, Ladislav Schmid, Woody Mitchell, who they just traded for, Greg Zanon, Mark Popovich, Alexei Zitnik. Yeah, that D is a little shaky. Chris Kunitz, Geoffrey Lupul, Drew Miller, Chad Kilgore, Bobby Ryan, Ryan Getzlaff, Ryan Reed, Zvidov, McDonald, Brent, Carrier, Dackel, Paranto, and Corey Perry. Yeah, I think we should be able to win against them. Alright, so we're set on the road. For that one, we're going to go with Brian Elliott, and he's going to face Eric Esberg. And we lost 4-3 in overtime. Now, keep in mind, we probably didn't have all of our best players playing. Yeah, we got outshot 43-26 in that one. Andy McDonald was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Matt Stajan was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Pierre-Alexandre Paranto was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. So we opened up the scoring in the first. It was Eric Condra from Matt Stajan. Then in the second period, Anaheim tied. Then we took a 2-1 lead with Matt Stajan scoring on a power play from Scott Niedermayer and Roman Wick. But then Anaheim scored 2 more goals and they were up 3-2 after 2. Then in the third period we tied the game up. It was Jesse Winchester from Roman Wick and Peter Regan. Tied at 3, and then in overtime Ryan Getzlaff scored and we lost that 4-3 in overtime. No one could stop Patrick Kane, who had a hat-trick against Philadelphia. Alright, and now we are about to play the Florida Panthers. Now, the Panthers have been pretty bad the entire time that I've been doing this playthrough. They have never made the playoffs. And they have an outlook of winning now, with a weakness in net and on both wings, and no strength. Yeah, that's not good. Alright, let's see what they have here. So in net, it's going to be Jacob Markstrom and Jason LaBarbera. Now, Markstrom is 18 years old. He's not really ready for prime time yet. Jay Boomister, Jason Garrison, Corey Murphy, Douglas Murray, Sasha Gotch, Rob Scuderi, and Yuri Fisher on D. Up front, it's Tanner Glass, Nathan Horton, Matt Molson, Sergei Samsonov, Andy Elbert, who came to camp unfit. Gregory Campbell, Sergei Fyodorov is in Florida, but he's suspended. Oh yeah, he still has 7 games left suspended. Ryan Kessler, Tatsishek, Tim Connolly, Frolik, Stewart, Uzelius, and Mark Parrish. Alright, so a big marketing ploy in Florida. They managed to get Sergei Fyodorov, so trying to attract fans in the stands, I guess. Alright, so alright, let's see what we can do here. So Ryan Miller is going to be in net for us again. Jacob Markstrom is going to be in net for Florida. And we won 4-3 in overtime again. So all the games we've played so far have gone to overtime. We outshot Florida 35-31. Anton Volchenkov was the first star of that game. He had an assist. Matt Molson was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Mike Fisher was the third star with a goal. So Florida opened up the scoring in the first. And there was a fight between Matt Molson and Zdeno Chara. Wow. Matt Molson is pretty brave. Then Florida took a 2-0 lead, but then we tied the game with Joe Thornton scoring on the power play from Jason Spezza and Chris Kelly, and then Mike Fisher from Anton Volchenkov and Nick Drazenovich got a point, tied at 2 after 2. And in the third period, Chris Kelly scored from Patrick Eves, but then Mark Parrish tied the game up. It was tied at 3. Nobody scored in overtime, and this went to a shootout with Frolik scoring for Florida, but then we had Patrick Eves and Pavel Datsyuk score for us, so we won 4-3. Red light stays on for Oleg Tverdovsky in Columbus. He had 3 goals and an assist against Edmonton. And red light stays on for yet another defenseman, Eric Brewer. Playing for New Jersey, he had 3 goals and 2 assists against the Bruins. Oh, Tim Thomas has new pads. Still in Buffalo. Alright, and now we are about to play the Los Angeles Kings. So we're at home for 2 games against the Kings and the Stars. So let's take a look at the Kings here. Alright, so they have Mike Camilleri that's hurt. He's not gonna play that. And then, oh, Trevor Lewis is hurt as well. And so is Kimmo Timonen. Wow, they have a lot of injuries. Alright, so in net it's Jonathan Bernier and Jonathan Quick, Paul Martin, Brian McCabe, Lubomir Vishnevsky, Rob Blake, Drew Doughty, Andy Delmore, Kimmo Timonen, Keith Ballard, and Sami Salo on the other. They have a lot of D's on the lineup. Now, Brian McCabe last season finished with 15 points. Wow, what a drop compared to what he had with us the year before. Yikes. Up front, it's Bednar, Wilsey, Conroy, Chris Drury is now in LA. Anze Kopitar, Trevor Lewis, Connor Wolchuk, Todd White, Dawson Brown, Eric Bélanger, Yannick Leroux, and Tukonen. Probably going to be a little bit of a tough year in LA. Alright, Jonathan Bernier in net. We're going to Ryan Miller. And we won 7-4. Oh god, that's terrible. I mean, we won 7-4, that's fine, but we outshot the Kings 49-9, which means that Ryan Miller allowed 4 goals on 9 shots. Yikes. Chris Kelly was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Mike Fisher was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Brooks Laich was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. 13,787 people in attendance for that preseason game. So Ellie scored first. And then Mike Fisher scored to tie the game from Sheldon Sorry and Chris Kelly. And then Ellie scored 2 more goals. And it was 3-1 Ellie after 1. Then in the second period, we had Anton Volchenkov score from Pavel Datsyuk and Joe Thornton. It was 3-2, and then Chris Drury scored for the Kings, made it 4-2 Los Angeles. But we managed to tie the game before the end of the period. Joe Thornton scored from Pavel Datsyuk and Marian Osa, and then Jason Spezza from Chris Kelly and Mike Fisher tied at 4-2. And finally, in the third period, Joe Thornton scored on the power play from Chris Kelly and Jason Spezza, then Peter Regan from Brooks Laich and Anton Volchenkov, and finally Brooks Laich scored in an empty net from Peter Regan. 7-4, the final score. Open ice leads to a productive night for Jerome McGinley, who had 4 assists against Tampa Bay. And in that same game, Danny Eatley had a hat-trick. Alright, so speaking of the Stars and Jerome McGinley and Danny Eatley, we are hosting them for the next preseason game. Oh, they don't have a whole lot of players on their lineup. They're running with the bare minimum there, 20 players. Well, they have plenty of players signed. I don't know why they're going with just 20. So in net it's going to be Jonas Eller and Mike Smith. And then on D it's Jimmy Eward, Brian Allen, Andrew Albert, Trevor Daly, Matt Niskanen, Ruslan Soleil. And then up front it's Jamie Benn. You see Jokinen, Danny Eatley, P. Jackson, Joel Lundqvist, Ryan Johnson, Nico Kapanen, Brendan Morrow, Jerome McGinley, Aleshemsky, Chris Thorburn, and Wes Walls. That's interesting. They're not. The Stars are not too bad. They don't have like a 5-star player or anything like that, but they're not too bad. Right, so Jonas Eller is going to be in net for Dallas, and we are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 7-2. So we outshot the Stars 64-26. Sheldon Surrey was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Zdeno Chara was the second star with 2 assists as well. And Pavel Datsyuk was the third star with a goal and an assist. 14,047 people in attendance for that game. Joe Thornton opened up the scoring in the first on the power play from Pavel Datsyuk and Jason Spezza, and then Patrick Eves on the power play as well from Matt Stajan and Brooks Like, and it was 2-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, the Stars cut the lead in half with a goal. Alright, sorry about that. And then we scored 2 goals. So Pavel Datsyuk scored shorthanded from Sheldon Surrey and Zdeno Chara. Then Scott Niedermayer scored from Marian Hossa. 41 Sens at that point. Then Dallas scored, made it 4-2. And then we scored 3 more goals in the third period. Joe Thornton scored his 5th of the preseason on the power play from Jason Spezza. Then Martin Avlat from Sheldon Surrey and Zdeno Chara. And finally Matt Stajan from Martin Avlat and Eric Condra. And it was 7-2 is how this game ended. Alright, and we're about to play in Montreal against the Habs. Let's see what they have in store for us. Let's take a look at their lineup. They tend to be pretty good. Alright, so as we saw, Andrei Markov is out for a while with a fractured hip. Alright, so in net it's going to be Yaroslav Alek and Carey Price. Oh boy, Montreal fans can start to speculate and everything. Who's going to stay? Who's going to leave? François Beauchemin, Mathieu Schneider, Ronnie Sundin, Jack Johnson, Sami Lepisto, PK Subban, and Yoni Pitkinen on D. Alexander Frolov, Chris Higgins, Max Pacioretty, Steve Ott, Justin Williams, Stephen Weiss, Derek McKenzie, Thomas Plekanec, Gilbert Brûlé, Louis Eriksson, Mike Ribeiro, Corey LaRose, Chad LaRose, Teddy Purcell, and Rafi Torres. Yeah, that resembles absolutely nothing from, the Canadians of 2008. This is a much better team. Alright, so Montreal, we're going to send Brian Elliott, and they are going to go to Carey Price. And we lost 5-2. We outshot Montreal 37-34. Sami Lepisto was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Mathieu Schneider was the second star with 2 assists. And Louis Eriksson was the third star with a goal and an assist. Montreal scored first in the first period, and then Zdeno Chara tied the game from Matt Stajan and Pavel Datsyuk. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then Montreal scored in the second period, and we tied the game again with Eric Condra scoring from Zdeno Chara and Mark Streit. And we headed into the third period tied at 2, but Montreal scored 3 unanswered, and 5-2 was the final score. Derek Roy has a great game in Buffalo. He had a hat-trick against Carolina. Alright, and finally we are about to play the last game of the preseason, and it's going to be against the Nashville Predators in Nashville. No injuries there. There's an injury here. Patrick Hornquist is injured. He's not going to be playing. And in net, it's going to be Chad Johnson and Pecorine. Then Dan Amius, Kevin Klein, Ryan Suter, Mikko Letanen, Tommy Elbling, Shea Weber, Marek Zidlicki on D. And that's a pretty decent D. Scott Hartnell, Nick Spaling, Vernon Fiddler, Colin Wilson, Steve Carrier, David Legwan, Cal Riley, Mike Santorelli, Jarkko Imanen, Martin Sarka, Martin Erat, Matt Hendricks, Patrick Hornquist, and Mark Schwinard. Yeah, there's talent on that team. They're pretty good. Alright, so Ryan Metter is going to be in net for us. Chad Johnson in net for Nashville. And we won 8-3. We outshot Nashville 48-14. Jason Spezza was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 4 assists. Joe Thornton was the second star with a goal and 4 assists as well. And Pavel Datsyuk was the third star with 2 goals and an assist. So Pavel Datsyuk scored first in the first period from Joe Thornton, then Spezza scored from Thornton and Datsyuk, and then Roman Wick scored on the power play from Jason Spezza. It was 3-0 at that point. Then Nashville scored, made it 3-1, and we scored again. It was Joe Thornton on the power play from Roman Wick and Jason Spezza, and it was 4-1 Sens after 1. In the second period, we had Zdeno Chara score from Mike Fisher and Sheldon Surrey. Then Nashville scored, made it 5-2, and then we made it 6-2 with Pavel Datsyuk scoring from Joe Thornton and Jason Spezza. 6-2 after 2. There was a fight between Vernon Fiddler and Mike Fisher. And then we went into the third period with Roman Wick scoring on a power play from Jason Spezza and Joe Thornton. Then Nashville scored, and finally Marian Hossa scored from Zdeno Chara and Sheldon Surrey. 8-3 the final score. Oh, Spezza is listed as day-to-day for 6 days. He should be fine for the start of the season. Joe Thornton set everything up tonight with a goal and 4 assists. Jason Spezza has a good game with a goal and 4 assists as well. We just saw all of that. Alrighty. So this is where I am going to end the video. Right after preseason, that's where I'd like to stop it. And then prior to the next video, I'm gonna look at training camp, at the stats and everything, and see who makes the team and who doesn't. And then next video, of course, is going to be the month of October, where it looks like we're gonna have a lot of home games. So, well, that's it for today. So not a lot of free agent signings, but I did make 2 trades, signed my young players, and then claimed 3 pretty decent prospects on waivers. So I was pretty active, I think, and I kind of fixed my problem on D, or at least I hope that I did, by getting Scott Niedermayer. That was something I wanted to address, and that kind of fell on my lap, so that's perfectly fine for me. So that's it for today, folks. As usual, I do want to thank you for tuning in, and if you've liked the video, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.